Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I've been receiving a lot of requests for my Saitama build, so I'll be going over this today. First, let's start with a brief overview. There are some areas where Saitama excels, and other areas where it doesn't do as well. MVPs is the primary area where I use Saitama. It has very high burst damage and is good for securing last hit or just killing the boss outright in one hit. It's not as good at killing bosses that have a built-in damage cap like Void Prison or Lost Isle Legend. Sure, you can use consecutive punches to get around the damage cap per hit. But the long cast delay makes it clunky and not as efficient as some other classes in this specific situation. Farming with Saitama is terrible because of the low range and capped max attack speed of 100%. Low AoE makes some weekly instances such as Oracle Dungeon and Endless Corridor too annoying to complete. And for those of you wondering, I have tried Saitama in PvP. It does have one-hit kill potential, but it requires too much setup to make it worth using over other top-tier PvP classes. Before I go over stats and equipment, let me first highlight a few important Saitama skills. Enforcement of Justice is Saitama's primary nuke skill. It ignores flee and defense. If you are just focused on the one-hit kill, you technically don't need ignore defense. It also damages a small cone behind the initial target. Enforcement of Justice scales with strength, so we are going to want to max the strength stat. Successive attack deals auto attack times 150% damage every 0.2 seconds. This skill does require ignore defense, so in my build, I do pick up as much ignore defense as I can. Successive attack can actually deal a lot of damage, and it is useful for monsters that require multi-hit. I don't bother with increasing auto attack for this skill because it only increases successive attack damage, but doesn't help enforcement of justice. Agility of the hero increases attack by 5, and final damage of enforcement of justice by 0.75% for every 1% of movement speed. Movement speed is important in increasing Saitama's nuke damage. Auto attack is uniquely different for this class. It does physical damage times 600%, but the attack speed remains capped at 100%. Combined with terminating punch, you get a gradually increasing chance to trigger enforcement of justice for free with an auto attack. Another interesting feature is that every 10 points of agility increases 1% movement speed, and because movement speed increases Saitama's damage, we will also want to max agility. With these skills in mind, let's move on to stats. First, max strength. This is the most important stat to increase Saitama's damage. Then max agility, since every 10 points increases Saitama's movement speed, and therefore damage with his passive skill. I put a little into luck to hit the beautiful ensemble bonus. The rest I divide into int and dex to hit bonus skill damage from Zenobia card. You can put any leftover points into vitality. If you don't have Zenobia card or beautiful ensemble, just max strength and agility, and put the remaining into vitality. On to my gears. Here's the TLDR snapshot of my current equipment. I use regular ancient gear for some of my slots because I only use Saitama for PvE. The PvP line would only be useful for War of Crystal. But honestly, if you get caught in a mob, you're dead anyway. I do have advanced gear versions of these equips, but I have different Mora enchants on them with status resist for my PvP classes. For my ancient relic, I use Lord of Bane. I think Lord of Bane currently provides the highest damage increase for PvE. Plus 15 combustible knife is the overall best in slot for offensive Oracle Mirror. It doesn't really matter what you use for defensive Oracle Mirror. I keep Meteorite for stun and freeze resist. And for the upcoming Shadow Gears patch, I think plus 15 Skeleton Bracer and White Duke's Manto will increase melee physical damage the most. Mora enchants. You are basically going to want to focus enchants that further increase damage. This includes PDI, strength stat, agility stat, and fourth line rolls such as morale and sharp blade. I'll show you the choices I've made for my character. For my accessories, it would probably be better to have strength stat instead of intelligence. I may consider re-rolling for this in the future when I have spare enchantment crystallization crystals. For the right side gears, I've selected items that increase both damage and move speed. For the back, I like Rathgryci Fallen Feather because it increases all attributes, move speed, and penetration. The Lex Eterna also procs fairly well with consecutive punches. Now, let's talk about some gear comparisons, what everyone really wants to know. Is Titan better, or Holy Glorious Punch? Saitama's Glorious Punch weapon gives a lot of strength stat and movement speed, which is built to help the nuke damage of the class. On the other hand, Titan Fist gives a huge amount of large-size monster damage, which is likely better suited for MVP because most high-level bosses are large anyway. I will be doing my tests unbuffed because we easily reach the max damage cap of the dummy otherwise. I will be hitting the dummy using a standard setting of Demi-Human, Neutral Element, and MVP status. I'll also try hitting against small, medium, and large size to see the difference. First, let's test against a large-size dummy at 0%, 50%, and 90%. Titan clearly wins against large bosses. Next, let's try a medium-sized dummy. Holy Glorious Punch clearly wins for medium monsters. There is no need to test for small monsters because Titan will do even worse in that situation since it has no damage increase against small. In the end, I stick with Titan because most hard MVP bosses are large. For those of you wondering why I choose the Voodoo or Cursed Ancient Armor, let me show you why through a similar quick comparison clip. I will again test against a Demi-Human Neutral Dummy. Let's keep the size large since neither of these gears focus on size damage. Both ancient gears used in this testing has max random attribute roll. I also removed the Mora enchant to make the testing comparison even. You might think that the higher total physical damage increase from Dragonblood armor would be better than regular attack percentage increase on Voodoo armor. But it appears the ability to roll penetration on the random attribute line of Voodoo armor makes it better against tougher bosses. The damage may be the same on a 0% dummy, but the Voodoo armor wins out once you start increasing the toughness of the dummy. I'm not going to spend too much time on runes. This is a hero class, and you need to get second line roll on all 6 runes. Just try to roll as high as possible on powerful suppression for successive punch damage, and limit break star for fast move duration. Warm-up star rune is also useful for removing buff on some bosses. Now, let's show some gameplay from our most recent War of Crystals. We are facing Asgard Kingdom, Atomics, and Unspug, some of the strongest guilds on our server. Here's an extra one just for fun. During today's WOC, I was trying to record more MVP kills for this video, but the camera icon ended up blocking my minimap. I couldn't figure out which direction was my team's platform and accidentally went to the enemies instead. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future.
Until next time, bye bye.